Title: The Forgotten Forest. It began with 5 friends, Mark, Sarah, Jamie, Tom, and Lisa, on a weekend trip into the deep, dense woods far from civilization. They sought adventure and decided to explore a forgotten forest known for its eerie tales. As they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin. It stood hidden among the trees, its wood rotting and covered in moss, windows broken, and the door barely hanging on its hinges. Despite the ominous appearance, curiosity got the better of them. They pushed the door open, revealing a dark interior filled with dust and decay. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and something metallic. Lisa noticed dark, dried stains on the floor leading toward a trapdoor. Despite a sense of dread, they decided to investigate further. Jamie grabbed a flashlight, its beams slicing through the darkness, revealing more stains in the trapdoor. They gathered around, and Mark, always eager for a thrill, pulled it open. A set of old wooden stairs led down into the blackness. One by one, they descended. The basement was cold, the air thick with decay. As they reached the bottom, their flashlight revealed an ancient stone altar, covered in dark, dried blood. Strange symbols were etched into the stone floor and walls, symbols none of them recognized. As they stared in horror, the trapdoor above them slammed shut with a deafening bang, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled to find light. Then, out of the darkness, came a low, guttural growl. Flashlight flickered, and then went out. Suddenly, a shadow moved faster than they could react. A scream echoed through the basement as Sarah was dragged away, her screams abruptly silenced. The flashlight flickered back on, revealing Sarah's lifeless body, her eyes wide with terror, blood pooling around her. Friends screamed and ran for the stairs, but a grotesque figure emerged from the shadows. It had glowing red eyes and rotting flesh. It moved with unnatural speed, lunging at Tom and slashing him with a rusted machete. Blood sprayed across the room as Tom fell, clutching his chest, his eyes wide with shock. The others could only watch in horror as the creature turned toward them. In a frenzy, they scrambled up the stairs, desperate to escape. Lisa reached the top first, pushing at the trapdoor, but it wouldn't budge. Behind her, she heard Jamie scream as the creature grabbed him, dragging him back into the darkness. Mark and Lisa pushed against the trapdoor with all their strength, and it finally burst open. They tumbled out onto the cabin floor. They could hear the creature's footsteps behind them, getting closer. They ran for the door, but it slammed shut before they could reach it. The cabin seemed alive, wrapping them inside. With no other choice, they ran down the hallway, hoping for another way out. The walls seemed to twist and turn, leading them deeper into the cabin. They burst into a large room, and there stood the creature, holding Jamie's severed head. It grinned, a sickening, inhuman grin. Mark grabbed a chair and threw it, buying them a few seconds. "We have to fight," he said. Lisa nodded, tears in her eyes. She grabbed a rusted metal pipe, and Mark found a broken piece of wood with a sharp end. The creature lunged, but Mark drove the stake into its side. It howled in pain. Lisa swung the pipe, hitting the creature across the face, but it barely flinched. Grabbed her by the throat, lifting her off the ground. Mark grabbed a torch and thrust it into the creature's face. It screamed, dropping Lisa as it staggered back. Flames spread quickly, catching the old wood of the cabin. Fire consumed the walls, the heat intense. Mark pulled Lisa to her feet. They ran for the door, which swung open. They escaped into the forest, the flames lighting up the night behind them. They didn't stop running until they were far away, collapsing in the forest, gasping for breath. They had survived, but the nightmare would never truly end. The memory of that night would haunt them forever, echoing through the dark, forgotten forest.